Some would call Sports Card Investor and Sports Card Radio the yin and yang of hobby content. I think I found a common thread, and we're going to talk about that here today. Stick around. What's going on, sports card friends? Hope everybody is doing well. I kind of put my own little version on the Cardboard Coaches introduction. Sorry, Co. I kind of took a little bit of what you do. So anyway, check out Cardboard Coaches YouTube channel. All right, so many look at Sports Card Investor as kind of the ultimate in hobby positivity sports card content, and they'll look at Sports Card Radio as kind of the opposite of that. And that's where I came up with kind of the yin and the yang part. Although, if you really look at the 15 years that Sports Card Radio has been putting out content, they have a combination of positive and negatives. And that's why it's important to do a deep dive look into more of the total package of content before making a call on it. Oh, but wait, big shout out to video sponsor DC Sports 87. These guys handle consignment for cards. If you don't feel like doing the eBay sale stuff yourself, you don't feel like packaging, shipping, and dealing with all the nonsense of refunds, oh, your guy's not paying, great. Oh, your kid accidentally bought the card, fantastic. If you don't want to deal with that, just ship it off DC Sports 87 and they will take care of the rest. Pretty easy, just one-page form. You just put your information on, ship out the cards. They do it all on the website. It's automatically updated as soon as people pay on their site in real time. These guys are listing 5,000 to 7,000 cards per day. Definitely check out DC Sports 87. As a fellow content creator that puts out a lot of content and have done over the last 3 years, I respect both of these channels for different reasons. I mean, anytime you have channels that get this sort of growth, it's pretty damn impressive. It's not easy to do in a niche market like sports cards. Recently, Jeff Wilson has spun off another channel, at least I think it's recent, the Jeff Wilson Show. This is more long-form podcast style content that he does with Kelly, and I really like the free-flowing conversation. It's different than kind of more of the pre-planned video content that's typically on SCI. A recent episode called Chip on My Shoulder or something to that effect, I'll put a picture up. I like this episode because he shows some vulnerability in that what motivates him kind of was spurned on by some of the stuff from his childhood, being a self-proclaimed nerd, not always being great at athletics, and being somewhat bullied because of it and so forth growing up. And hey, look, if you grew up in the 80s, early 90s, everybody was bullied a little bit. So I think that was just kind of par for the course if we go back in time. And so he talks about some of those motivations that he gained through childhood. Kind of similar to Sports Card Radio as they talk about growing up in kind of a tougher neighborhood in Stockton, California. But this sort of adversity, rejection is what really builds character. I actually listened to some Sports Card Radio podcast episodes driving up to the Philly Card Show. One that I would highly recommend is from September 18th, 2019, and it's called Long-Term ComC Buys Personal Goals. And it's Ryan. He's talking about cards, but he's also talking about weight loss. He's talking about dating. And I thought that it was really good. What I like is he's not necessarily just talking about all the wins. You know, he'll talk about what things worked, what things didn't, but you have to constantly work at these sorts of things. Sometimes you're going to win and sometimes you're going to lose. Rejection is your friend. Adversity is your friend. For me, my parents got divorced when I was 11, and I personally went through a divorce when I was 27. Nothing really quite brings you to your knees like a divorce with kids involved. Because of course, you never want to let your kids down. That's really your number one as a dad, as a parent. You never want to cause hurt or pain, towards your kids. And so divorce can just be a really tough thing because sometimes things just don't work out. Most of my jobs in my 20s were sales jobs involving cold calling. And man, cold calling really puts hair on your chest. You really get used to rejection, but it makes you stronger. It really does. Same with door-to-door sales or kind of in-person sales sorts of interactions. When you're dating, if you're going after that girl that you're into, you might fall flat on your face many, many times before you land that date or before you get to the second date or whatever. But those are really character building. It's the folks that sit on the sidelines. A lot of times they're sitting on the sidelines talking smack. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that she said no to you. What a loser. Meanwhile, they're not doing anything over there. They're not even trying. And if you're not trying, you're not in the game, then you have nothing to talk about. There's nothing to say. But I really believe that adversity, it hits people people and they either react to it one way or the other. They either react to it and they're like, you know what? I'm going to take over the world and I'm going to beat this thing and I'm going to be better for it. I'm going to grow from this and I'm going to build a life. Or they are a lifelong victim that can't get out of their way and is always falling on their face. And it's always somebody else's fault. There's always something to complain about. And that's just how it is. It's either one or the other. And maybe some people are a combination of the two. But I really think that the only choice is the chip on your shoulder. You got to beat the world. You got to find a way to win and just keep on going. And so I really respect both of these channels. I know they kind of go back and forth. I don't believe in the picking sides thing as far as you have to pick one side or the other. I have respect for both. You can like one over the other, but I have respect for both just because I'm making lots of content. Both enjoyed a lot of success and continuing at it. It's not as if anybody's resting on their laurels. They're continuing to try to adapt, try to grow, and that's commendable. All right, guys, let's continue to build life. Let's be builders of life. Let's continue to build on, stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.